Now, it's been over 70 days now since that fire that broke out on 30 Tughlaq Crescent on Tughlaq Road in Delhi, the official bungalow of the then Delhi High Court Judge Justice Yashwant Varma. It took almost a week later for the first details of the incident to emerge and a few more days later for the actual pictures to come to light. Now, while the fire was doused immediately, it is what emerged from the ruins that has shook the country's conscience. As pictures of piles and piles of cash that lay burnt and half burnt, as the government is mulling impeachment of Justice Varma, with the process likely to start as the early upcoming monsoon session, Times Now meanwhile has unraveled the truth. The truth that has been established after a 33-day-long investigation carried out by three-judge panel constituted by the Supreme Court. Now, after examining over 50 witnesses, the truth has been chronicled in black and white in a 64-page report. And this report that has been accessed by Times Now is currently with the President of India, submitted by the CJI. Let's break down the details of this report. So what did this three-member inquiry committee sought to probe or to investigate? There are three key questions that have come to light. The first question was asked to Justice Varma to explain the presence of the cash, explain also the source of the cash, and then explain the removal of the cash. Now, these developments that have been coming in is the most damning part of the probe report, a video that was purportedly shot by one of the first responders on the intervening night of 14th and 15th of March when the fire was reported that Justice Varma's staff was present at the site where there was half-burnt cash that was recovered. Watch this video.
महात्मा गांधी में आग लग रही भाई महात्मा गांधी में आग लग रही भाई महात्मा गांधी में आग लग रही भाई
Now, the man who is calling for Rahil is R.S. Karki, who is Justice Varma's private secretary, while Mohammad Rahil is Justice Varma's domestic staff. Now, in their examination as well, R.S. Karki has reportedly admitted that it was his voice in the video, and so has Mohammad Rahil, also initially conceding that he was the one being called. However, it is being said that he later changed his statement. Now, while this establishes is that Justice Varma's staff was very much present at the spot, debunking Justice Varma's claim that his staff had no knowledge of any burnt cash. Let's get you a breaking update as many legal experts and their opinion on the case as how it seems to be proceeding on Operation Order that seems to be echoing across political landscapes. As reacting to Times Now's mega news break, the BJP has now called for accountability in judiciary, and the party says that the charges against the judge are serious in nature and insisting that some action should be taken.
जिस तरह की बातें आई और जिस तरह से जुडिशरी को लेकर बड़े सारे सवाल खड़े हुए, अब जो रिपोर्ट आई है जिसमें उनको इस पूरे मामले में आरोपी माना गया है, क्या कहेंगे आगे क्या हो सकता है और किस दिशा में जुडिशरी अब जाएगी?
बहुत गंभीर मामला है। किसी भी जज के घर पर फायर ब्रिगेड आए और वहां पर नोटों की गड्डियां जलते हुए दिखे तो संगीन भी है, गंभीर भी है। बड़े गंभीर प्रश्न उठते हैं जिनके जवाब की आवश्यकता है। इसी को मद्देनजर रखते हुए, क्योंकि चाहे सुप्रीम कोर्ट, हाई कोर्ट या जज हैं या अगर आप देखें गवर्नर हैं, उनके अपने संविधान में कुछ प्रोटेक्शंस हैं, तो इसकी मद्देनजर रखते हुए तुरंत चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया, उस टाइम जस्टिस अपने संजीव खन्ना सर, उन्होंने रखा एक समिति जानने के लिए भी क्या है, तथ्य क्या है। कार्रवाई के लिए अनुच्छेद 124(4) के तहत ही कार्रवाई होगी। उसको रिमूवल ऑफ जज के लिए जो प्रोसेस है, उसके लिए 50 ऐसे सांसदों को लिखना पड़ेगा, वो लिख कर देंगे, उसके बाद वो प्रोसेस होगा और इस पे कहीं ना कहीं एक जानकारी आ रही है आपके माध्यम, चैनल के माध्यम से, और जो रिपोर्ट की जानकारी आपके चैनल दे रहे हैं कि हो सकता है कि ये मॉनसून सत्र में भी हो, लेकिन इसके लिए हमें थोड़ा रुकना पड़ेगा। पर ये जरूर है, मामला गंभीर है, कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए और मैं मानता हूं कार्रवाई होगी।
Well, Pragya, क्या कार्रवाई होगी? As when it comes to Nalin Kohli and the voice of the BJP there, but the कार्रवाई doesn't mean impeachment, or the कार्रवाई also means that there would be more that could be possibly done to restore the faith in the judiciary.
Well, there is a process of removal of judges, and if the judge refused to resign or take voluntary retirement as demanded by CJI from Justice Mr. Yashwant Varma in this case, the only karwai that is left, in fact, if you need to have an FIR lodged, you need CJI permission for that. So, and in case of High Court, you need a High Court Chief Justice permission to lodge even an FIR and to start an investigation. So, the fact that there is going to be an action, what our sources are given to understand is that there is going to be an impeachment motion that will be brought in, that will be, taken up in this particular monsoon session. And what we are also given to understand that government has already started talking to a few of the opposition parties. In fact, they have also approached few of the opposition parties regarding this matter. And the general sentiment that the government has received from these opposition parties is that they are on board when it comes to the impeachment motion against Justice Varma. Everyone has seen the videos. Everyone has in fact, I would say they have also looked at the witness accounts, and in fact the reports that have come out and the burnt cash, that we had seen on our screens. They also, in fact, all the politicians had also seen, and there was a clamor on part of the opposition as well to take action against Justice Varma. So it is given to understand that majority of them would be on board when it comes to the impeachment motion that is likely to be brought in by the government in this monsoon session, which will be in July, is what we are expecting. But the prerogative of removing the judge is also of president, but president also does it with approval of the houses, and you need 2/3 of the majority to
Well, as far as
it.
the findings of this report is concerned, it is said to be with the president currently. As Pragya continues to be with us, we also talk about what the panel has now concluded. The conclusion that came out was that, yes, cash was indeed found at Justice Varma's storeroom, and that access to the storeroom was in active control of the judge and his family. And the burned cash was indeed then removed from the site of the fire. And the committee has also recommended now the initiation of proceedings for the removal of the judge himself. Now, after this report was submitted to the CJI on the 3rd of May, he wrote to Justice Varma the next day, giving him the option either to resign or to take voluntary retirement. However, what is being said that 2 days later, Justice Varma responded, calling the findings of the report as perverse and the probe as unfair. But does Justice Varma have any evidence to back his arguments? It doesn't look like as of now, because he has contended that the storeroom was under constant CCTV scrutiny. But till now, what is being said that he hasn't produced any footage to corroborate those claims that money was planted or possibly an outsider could have been involved. Now, as the government is mulling judges' impeachment, the Congress party here has now been seeking that an all-party meeting be convened by the government, asking that this is the time when it comes to the judiciary which is in question, and all parties must be taken into confidence.
देखिए, मैं एक चीज बताऊं, भारत के संविधान की जो एक प्रक्रिया है इम्पीचमेंट का, सुप्रीम कोर्ट उसे भेजता है, विचार करती है सरकार। सरकार अगर इम्पीचमेंट लाना चाहेगी तो सर्वदलीय बैठक बुलाएगी, उसमें जो भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने लिखा है, जो जांच की फाइंडिंग है, उस पे सब पे चर्चा होगी। हम इस व्यक्तिगत केस पे तो कुछ नहीं कहते, पर हमेशा भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ हम रहे हैं। अगर सरकार इम्पीचमेंट के मसले पे भ्रष्टाचार का कोई मुद्दा लेके आएगी तो निश्चित रूप से कांग्रेस पार्टी गुणों दोष के आधार पर उसका समर्थन करेगी।
Well, Bhavtosh is also connected with us. Bhavtosh, politically speaking, as far as the procedure that has also been laid, there is a certain set of parliamentary regulations and rules that need to be followed of an impeachment process. Now, how political parties can actually come together, be united and be on the same page to actually have this process come through?
Well, Amita, it is a long-drawn process, but you first need around 50 MPs, both in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, to sign it, and then subsequently, as our colleagues have been saying, that there should be a 2/3 majority before the impeachment motion can be set in place. And in recent history, at least in past 70 years, none of these impeachment motions have been successful, and that's the problem before the government. But there are many who are clamoring for a criminal investigation. It has happened in past with respect to a Allahabad High Court judge. in which case it's a corruption case of a alleged medical scam, in which CBI not only filed a case in which charge sheet was filed, but also subsequently filed a case of disproportionate assets case, and that's what has happened. The fact that such a huge amount of cash has been found, there is an inquiry committee that has submitted its report. That report is with the President and also with the Prime Minister, that establishes one thing, that around 1.5 feet of cash, which is a huge amount of cash, was found in the outhouse, whose access is very limited. It is with the family and with the staff.
Yes.
And subsequently, Justice Varma could not produce any evidence that some kind of intruder had entered into the house, and that's why everyone wants a criminal investigation.
All right. And as far as not just a criminal investigation, but opposition parties are of the view that an all-party meeting should be convened so that all the political parties be on the same page when the government mulls an impeachment portion in the upcoming monsoon session of Parliament. Pragyan Bhavtosh, thank you very much for joining in.